You ever notice the stuff in life that we need the most are the things we tend to take for granted, or at least overlook and ignore? Like air, for instance. You don't wake up in the morning going, oh, do I have enough air to breathe? Is there enough oxygen left for me to live the day? We just live our lives and take it for granted that there will always be enough air, enough oxygen for us to breathe. It's like water. And if you go to a restaurant, they usually just give you some water for free, and you might even just leave it there and order your drink and not worry about it, because it's just water. I mean, we have moved to the place where we bottle water, but overall it's pretty much available everywhere, but it's essential for life. The things that are most important sometimes, the things that are most obvious, are the things we tend to miss. For instance, in our spiritual journeys, what do we need most? What is the most spiritual activity that a human being can engage in? Is it worship? Is it prayer? Is it reading the scriptures? Is it spending time with other believers? What exactly is the most spiritual activity that we engage in? When you look through the scriptures, what you discover is that the most spiritual activity that we can ever engage in is the power to choose. Because before you pray, before you serve, before you worship, before you celebrate, before you give, before you make any of those actions come to pass, you have to choose. See, there may be no more specific description of what it means to be a spiritual being than that you have the power to choose. That's what it was like in the garden. God gave Adam a choice. He said, Adam, there are two trees, a tree of life and a tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And he said, there's just one choice that will hurt you, one choice that will bring death to your soul, and that's this tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But you can eat from any tree in the garden. And so the story of God and man begins in a garden of choices. And I love the fact that there was just one wrong choice, and every other choice was God. You see this over and over again in the scriptures. God stands before his people and he said, I lay before you a choice. One brings you life, one brings you death. One is a blessing, one's a curse. Choose this day. I love how Joshua stood up and said, choose this day whom you will serve. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. The power of our spiritual life are the choices we make. That God created you in his image and likeness. And perhaps the greatest evidence that you're a spiritual being is that every day you have to get up and you have to choose.
To realize the value of 1 year, ask a student who failed a grade. To realize the value of 1 month, ask a mother who gave birth to a premature baby. To realize the value of 1 week, ask the editor of a weekly newspaper. To realize the value of 1 day, ask a daily wage laborer with kids to feed. To realize the value of 1 hour, ask the lovers who are waiting to meet. To realize the value of 1 minute, ask a person who missed the train. To realize the value of 1 second, ask a person who just avoided an accident. To realize the value of 1 millisecond, ask the person who won a silver medal in the Olympics.